Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing again. Devin Haney repeats his win, unanimous wide decision over GEORGE Kambosos. This was kind of the rematch no one really wanted to see, I think, but it was a contractual thing. It was a rematch clause. So Haney, who travelled all the way to Australia, took the titles off Kambosos. A very disappointing Kambosos in the first fight, I thought. I was really disappointed in him. Yeah, he repeats the win, but he does it with a bit more spite this time, I think. There's a little backstory here where Kambosos is concerned, because after that terribly disappointing performance in the first fight, there was a bit of upheaval in his camp, because I think he sacked his manager and trainer, and they're both suing him, which must be on your mind if you're going through that sort of thing. You know, they're suing him supposedly for hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I don't know how much he got for this. I think he got $5 million for the first fight, maybe $2 or $3 million for the second fight, the Haney fights. Okay, he's making money, but if he loses it in the courtroom, I mean, that's got to be on your mind, hasn't it? But there's no doubt he needed to do something different in this rematch. And for the first two rounds, I thought he did all right, Kambosos. There was one weird thing that he was doing, which was constantly changing stance, switch hitting, not really with any rhyme or reason, just in a bid to sort of confuse maybe Haney. And Haney sort of had a rather slightly perplexed air. He's having a look at him, and first two rounds I thought Kambosos probably edged him. But Haney was really just waiting to find his rhythm and waiting to see what Kambosos exactly was up to. And Kambosos was using up a lot of energy with all this constant switch hitting and herky-jerky movements and switching stances. And he wasn't really planting his feet. He wasn't really... Again, there was no sort of plan behind it. He wasn't looking to... he wasn't putting himself in a position where he could attack, where he could counter, where he could throw the backhand, where he could jab. There didn't seem to be anything going on. It was just constant movement, and then bang, he'll throw a single punch, and he might try 1-2 or something. In the third round, Haney was wise to this and started to go to work. And then after the second round, I only gave Kambosos one more round, which I think was the ninth, which was a very exciting round. This was a better fight than the first fight, which was incredibly dull, incredibly disappointing. It was a wide deserved points win for Haney in the first fight, and it was in this fight too. I scored this fight 117-111 to Haney, but even the width of that 9 rounds to 3 width didn't really tell the full story of just how much of a beating GEORGE Kambosos took in this fight. Haney himself was cut at some point. I think it was it the 9th, 8th or 8th maybe. But in the 7th round, at the end of the 7th round, Kambosos had two end swells on either eye, and they were trying to flatten out the potential swellings of the eyes. And he also had a weird cut behind the ear and on the side of the head. And by the 9th round, 10th round actually, in the 10th round he took a hell of a beating from Haney, who by this point had found his range, was controlling controlling the range totally, landing very hard individual punches. He doesn't have one punch knockout power, Haney, but he hits respectably. And he was keeping Kambosos where he wanted. Every time Kambosos moved in, he was clocking him. And some of these were flush punches. And in the 10th round, Kambosos, for the first time, looked like he might get stopped. His face was reduced to a mask of blood on the side of his head. He couldn't do anything with Haney. He was staggered. There was one left hook that staggered him. His legs did a little jig. And I kind of half thought that maybe Kambosos' corner would put him out after the 10th, but they didn't. They let him go out for the 11th. It was more of the same. I think Haney had him where he wanted him and knew that he was a mile ahead, so perhaps didn't go through all the gears. But the 11th and 12th rounds belonged to Haney. Clearly they were Haney rounds, and he ended up winning off. I can't remember what the scores were, 118, 110 maybe. It was that sort of margin, 10-2. 11-1 maybe. I made it slightly closer, but again, this was a punishing defeat for Kambosos. And the one thing you can't deny about Kambosos is, number one, he's got guts by the bucket, and number two, I mean, he's a true warrior, definitely, but he will take on anyone. When you think of it, the last year, Teofimo Lopez and twice against Haney, he never ducks anyone. And in this era where constantly fans are saying, hey, you need to fight the best, we don't get enough big fights. George Kambosos, who, by the way, compared to Haney, looked about a division lower. Haney's a huge lightweight and will probably move up to light welter very soon. But Kambosos doesn't duck anyone. He is a true warrior. But I think he needs a break now. He needs a rest. He's 29 now and he needs to chill out, have a rest, maybe sort his backroom staff out, his trainer, his manager, get those legal issues sorted. As for Devin Haney, 23 years old, quite amazed, undisputed champ. I suppose if he sticks around at lightweight, you got Shakur Stevenson moving up. That would be a hell of a fight. I'd favour Stevenson actually in that fight, even though he's much the smaller man. But Haney's good. Haney's really good and very precise puncher. Doesn't really fire a lot of punches, you know. But what he punches, when he does throw, he usually lands. I'm very, very impressed with Haney. I think this is his best performance to date. So the rematch that no one really wanted turned out to be a bit better, a bit more entertaining anyway, but very one-sided. What do you think? Did you see it? Where do you think Kambosos can go from here? Where do you think Haney's going? Up to super lightweight, light middle, light welter, whatever you want to call it. Who would you like to see him in with? Tank, maybe? You know. Kambosos, what can he do? I think he needs a long rest, but yeah, I don't think he's finished unless he wants to retire. But why retire? He's only 29. He's made millions, but yeah, you know, good, two good fighters. Two, definitely one on the ascendancy, which is Haney. He can really tear up some trees in the higher weight division. Kambosos needs to regroup, but if he wants to carry on, get yourself together, get your life together, get your team together, and move on. I'd say. What do you think? Leave your comments below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit the like button. It helps us always. Every subscription is appreciated, and thanks for your time as always. We'll speak again soon. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye for now.